If you guys want to be in with a chance of winning a copy of FIFA 20 on either console of your choice, all you need to do is leave a like on the video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Best of luck and enjoy the video. Hey guys, Etherway here, welcome back to another video, and today I'm bringing you guys the ultimate FIFA 20 investment guide. I'm going to be showing you guys a wide variety of players that you can pick up in the early stages of the game, whether it be on the web app or early access, that will guarantee you profit. You just need to buy them early in the game and sell them around a week or so later, and you will make guaranteed coins. It's as simple as that. Stay tuned until the end of the video, and I'll be talking a lot more about when exactly to buy and sell these players to maximize your profits. I've got a total of 6 different types of investment to show you. This video should really help you guys out. It's going to be a long one. I put a lot of time and effort into it as well, so if you guys do enjoy, I really would appreciate it if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe if you're new around here. Without further ado, let's go on into it. First up, we've got meta gold cards, which are always very safe investments because these are the types of players people look to pick up for their teams right at the beginning of the game for the first weekend league of FIFA 20. These cards typically will be going for around 10 to 50,000 coins or so, and that's the type of price range you want to be looking at. You also want to look for players in the major leagues as well. These are just a few examples here. As with all of the investments I'm going to be showing you, I'm not showing you the be all and end all when it comes to players to pick up. These are just a few examples to illustrate what I'm talking about in this video. There are plenty of other players that you guys can find for yourself, but these are some of the better, more meta, popular cards I think that we will have at the beginning of the game. People like Adair Militao, for example, who's probably going to be the go-to centre-back in La Liga. Someone like Joe Gomez as well could be the same in the Premier League. You've got someone like Jadon Sancho, probably going to be the go-to option on the right-hand side of midfield. In the Bundesliga, especially for those teams kind of priced around 100 to maybe 250k, which is a typical kind of first weekend league type budget, I think, for a lot of teams. So these are the types of players you're going to want to pick up, and you want to get them as early as possible in the cycle. Around the time of the web app is best, so 18th, 19th, the earlier the better. At the beginning of the game, these cards are very cheap because people aren't really focused on building teams, especially on the 18th, because you can't actually play the game. You can just use the market on the web app, so people aren't really focused on building teams, and they just don't have the coins either to afford these higher end players, and because of that their prices are lower because people still want to sell players to get coins, so they just go ahead and list up all these types of players here for much lower prices, and they rise up all the way until just before the weekend league, so around kind of Friday time, which also coincides with the full release of the game. And that's when the cards are typically going to be at their highest prices, and you can sell them then. I will be talking at the end of the video about exactly when to buy and sell all the types of players there, and that's something very important, so stay tuned for that. And I did also do a video a couple of days ago talking about market trends on FIFA 20. If you want to check that out, there'll be a link down below in the description. But first of all, meta gold cards. Just to quickly summarise, players around 10 to 50,000 coins from major leagues with good stats in the right areas. They're the types of players you want to pick up. Very safe investments, especially if you have EA access, because you can buy these cards early in the game, use them throughout your 10 hours of early access in rivals and squad battles to do well and get good packs, and then you can sell them later for profit. Next up, we've got SBC Solution investments. These cards you want to get as early as possible in the cycle because people, as soon as they have about 10 to 20k, are going to start doing advanced SBCs, and these cards will shoot up in value because of that. It's something that everyone does at the beginning of the game because it's such an easy way of making coins, because you get really good packs back from the SBCs. So if you can cash in on these types of cards early on, you can make so much profit. It's crazy. The types of players you're looking for are anyone from a popular nationality but that play in a league different to their nation. So for example, French players that don't play in Ligue 1, especially ones that play in really obscure leagues like Gigo, who plays in the Russian league, for example, or Younes, a German in the Serie A, there aren't many there, or Cruiser, who plays in the Super League, again there aren't many Germans in that league, or Gignac, a French player from the Mexican league. These are just a few examples. I've got an entire list of players that I'm personally going to be picking up early on in the game. And if you guys go on to FootWiz or Footed or Footbin, any of those database websites, just go to a nationality like France or Spain or Argentina or Brazil, any of those popular nations, and look for players that play in obscure leagues. Especially if it's a league that only has like 1 or 2 other players from that nation. Those cards often go up to like 4 or 5k, even if they're just a non-rare gold. And you can get them for like 400 coins right at the beginning of the game when people aren't quite at the level to start doing SBCs. So I'm literally talking about like in the first 2 or 3 hours of the game. As soon as it comes out on the web app, these are the types of cards you can pick up super cheaply that people will be getting in their starter packs. And if they're not too knowledgeable about the game, they'll see someone like, I don't know, Botegan, for example, a Brazilian centre-back with 33 pace in the Eredivisie. They'll think, he's crap, I'll list him up, and you can get a card like that for 400 coins, and you can then quickly sell him a little bit later once he starts getting put to SBC Solutions on Footbin, and websites like that, and you're going to see his price shoot up. He could go to like 3 or 4k just because he's a player that would be integral to a lot of solutions like that for those advanced SBCs. Literally everyone completes the advanced SBCs on the game, especially right in the first few days, because as I said, it's a great way of making coins, but an even better way of making coins is investing in players that will be used in those SBCs. So these are just a few examples right here that you guys could pick up. They're all going to be very cheap, and they're all likely to rise up extensively, but there are loads and loads of other players which you can find for yourselves on those database websites, so I'd recommend checking them out. I'll leave links down below, but I'm sure you guys all already are well aware of Footbin, Footwiz and Footed. If not, check them out because they're very, very useful when it comes to trading. Next up, we've got link investments, which is something I've not really seen many people talking about, but can be really effective and make you a lot of coins. It applies mainly to Team of the Week, but also to certain SBCs like Player of the Month, and it's basically just picking up players who people are going to need to buy in order to link into certain players that will have special cards. So for example, Malen, a player that's virtually guaranteed to get into Team of the Week 1, having scored 5 goals for PSV Eindhoven on the weekend. If someone wants to use him, given that he doesn't have the best league or nation, there are certain players they're almost definitely going to buy to get him into their team on good chemistry. Bergvin, for example, is a great example. He gets a hyperlink to him, getting him on great chemistry there. So if anyone wants to use Malen, and they probably will because he's got a really good card, or if they pack him and want to try him out, they're going to go with Bergvin to link into him. They could also go with someone like Bruma or maybe Quincy Promes. They're basically the 3 players you can use to get a strong link into Malen who are good on the game. And all of those cards will rise in value simply because of Malen, simply because of that card right there. And this applies to loads and loads of other players too. For example, Marco Reus, he's likely to get into Team of the Week having scored 2 goals. If someone packs that card or buys it off the market, they're probably going to want to use Jadon Sancho to link into him. There aren't many other players around him that you could link in there, especially that play for Dortmund that are on that kind of level. Sancho could be one of them, so he's a player that you could see rising because of Royce. These cards are best to get early on in the game simply because not many people are focused on these types of investments right at the beginning of the game, and also people aren't really building teams, especially on the web app, so they won't really be focused on building squads around someone like Malen until they actually can play the game, and that's when they'll start buying players like Bergvin, Bruma and Promes, and they'll then rise in price because of that. This also applies to SBCs, as I said, like Player of the Month. The issue is though, Pookie literally has no one that gets a strong link into him that's particularly good. There's no good Norwich players really on Ultimate Team in the forward positions, so there aren't really any good investments there. But for example, if Tammy Abraham wins the next Player of the Month, you could be looking at people like Willian and Mason Mount to link into him. Next up, we've got ones to watch investing, but I'm not talking about the actual special cards. Instead, we're going to be investing in the gold versions of players who will be in the ones to watch squad. For those of you who aren't aware, ones to watch isn't released right at the beginning of the game with the web app. Instead, it comes out a little bit later on, I believe on the 27th, with the full worldwide release of FIFA 20. Now that means you've got around a week or so of having the gold versions of those players in packs. So someone like Nicolas Pepe, for example, is going to be in packs for a week as a gold card. Then he's going to be in packs for a week as a ones to watch item. And he's no longer going to be in packs as a gold card, which means there's going to be a very limited supply of a card like that. They're only going to be available for a week, and then when everyone gets their hands on the game, when the game's really at its peak in terms of the player base, millions of people will be online from the 27th onward and will be wanting to try out players like Pepe. The demand for those cards will shoot up, but there's a very limited supply, so they go up massively in value because people can't quite afford the ones to watch versions, which are a lot more expensive because obviously they have a dynamic rating, so they go with the gold cards, of course. Now you want to look for meta cards, especially. You don't really want to be focusing on the lower end cards that people aren't really going to be wanting to actually buy. Someone like Pepe is a great example, or Eder Militao. Those meta gold cards, I showed you guys a list of meta gold cards earlier, and many of them are likely to be in the ones to watch squad. And Ndombele, for example, João Felix, Wan-Bissaka, Saint-Maximin, Rodri, Griezmann. You've got higher end cards like Hazard as well. All of those are very, very good investments to pick up because they're only going to be in packs for a week. They're going to be super popular cards though that people will want to buy, and that demand is just going to shoot up because on the 27th is the global release, and that is when the majority of the player base get their hands on the game, and they're going to have a lot of coins because a lot of people will be spending money on FIFA points. So there's going to be a big injection of coins into the game, but beyond that Friday, these cards aren't going to be in packs for a week. It's going to be the ones to watch versions instead. These ones won't be in packs, so there's a limited supply of them, having only been available for the first couple of days of the game, so they shoot up in price and can make you tons and tons of coins, and you can just use them for a week or so and sell them just before they come back into packs and make really, really good profit. It's so easy and something that I would definitely recommend. It's such a low risk and high reward way of making coins. But ultimately, we've got player of the month investing. This is a very saturated investment. I've seen so many people talking about this. I've already done a video on player of the month as well, but now that we know who's actually won, it is Pukki. It makes investing very, very easy. This is something that you can do on a very, very low budget, and it's either going to allow you to make profit or complete the SBC super, super cheaply. It's already going to be unbelievably cheap, Pukki, probably like 30k, but with these tips here, you can maybe get it done for like 15 or 20k. So the main investment routes you want to cover for player of the month are the opponents of the player throughout the month. So for Pukki, they were West Ham, Newcastle, Chelsea and Liverpool, so you can pick up high rated goal cards from those teams. Around 80 to 83 are the types of ratings you're looking at. It's not going to be a super high rated SBC because it's not an amazing card, but they're the types of ratings of players you want to look out for, and they should be fairly inexpensive. You've got Norwich cards as well. The likes of Pukki himself and Farman are good investments there. You've got higher rated Premier League cards, so 83s, maybe some 84s as well. People like Sigurdsson and Patricio are going to be some good cheap examples there. Finland as well, you want to cover his nation, so Moisander and Hradecki are two examples there, and then the previous clubs of Pukki as well. You've got Brondby, you've got Helsinki, you've got Schalke, Sevilla, and you've also got Celtic right there. So you can pick up a few players from each of those teams just to cover you, just in case. And you can also cover, obviously, like all those different options there, just getting one or two players maybe that will cover each one, so get maybe like, I don't know, 2 or 3 Chelsea players, 2 or 3 Liverpool players. And if you can tie in different types of investments that killed 2 birds with 1 stone, you're going to be good. So someone like Pukki is a great investment because he's also a Finnish player. You could also look for cards that are going to be fairly usable that will probably rise in value when people actually get their hands on the game as well. So for example, Hradecki is a decent Bundesliga goalkeeper. For Newcastle, maybe someone like Joe Linton, for example. I'm not entirely sure how much he's going to be, but Joe Linton could be a great one because he's going to be a ones to watch player, so he will then go out of packs for a week, and you can maybe make some coins there if he doesn't quite rise up because of player of the month. So just a few investments there for you to pick up. This is something I think everyone knows about, but it's definitely worth throwing in here as one of the main ways of investing in the early stages of the game. Finally, we've got Team of the Week investing, but again, like with the ones to watch cards, we're not going to be picking up the special versions of these cards. Instead, it is the just the standard gold version, and it's the exact same premise. The Team of the Week comes out slightly after the full release of the game, so you can basically just pick up cards that are likely to be in the Team of the Week at a good price when they're very, very limited on the market. There's only been a couple of days of supply. They go out of packs for a week and they rise in price with a big demand. Very, very simple. You want to look for the better cards in the Team of the Week. So people like Royce, for example, Benzema, maybe Mane, could be Firmino, not entirely sure who's going to get in there. Frankie de Jong, could maybe be Suarez, you don't know. Son, almost definitely going to be in there. You want to look for players who are very likely to get in, but also have good cards. Tammy Abraham has got a decent card and is guaranteed to be in there, so he's a decent one to potentially pick up. These are just some very, very safe investments you can pick up. I would cover Team of the Week investing, as in actually investing in the Team of the Week cards, but that is slightly longer term, and I wanted to focus just on the early stages of the game when it comes to investing here. All these cards you can pick up on the web app or right at the beginning of the game and sell them like a week later and make guaranteed profit, and that's when the cards will probably be at their highest. Whereas with Team of the Week investing, you're typically waiting like 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks before you actually sell your cards on. However, I will be doing an in-depth video on Team of the Week investing before the game is released and when the game is released, and we actually have the Team of the Week to look at as well. But there we go. That is going to be the end of the video when it comes to these investments. However, I did say I would be talking about when to buy these cards and the trends on the market. I have done a video that's about 25 minutes long, and I show loads of examples from last year, exactly what happened on the market. So if you want to check that out, I would highly recommend it. It will be linked down below in the description. But just to briefly summarize the premise of that video, what I showed you guys was that player prices are at their very cheapest right at the beginning of the game on the 18th, because people don't have the coins. I mean, people can't pay like 100k for someone like, I don't know, Marcus Rashford. People can't pay 100k for Rashford because they don't have 100k. So if someone has that card, they'll list it for like 50k or something, just because that's the only kind of price they could maybe sell it at. But then as people get more coins, the cards rise in price. So beyond the 18th, you see cards rise up until the full release of the game, really, which is the 27th worldwide. That is when you're going to see cards kind of peak, and then they'll drop down because there's going to be a huge influx of cards onto the market, a massive increase in supply, because a lot of people are going to be spending FIFA points. That is one of the biggest times when it comes to pack openings on the game. Apart from probably Black Friday, Team of the Year, maybe Team of the Season, so many packs are open then, so there's a huge supply on the market. Cards drop down in value. And they will continue to drop maybe for like 1 or 2 days, but then they rise up again. They rise up because there's a lot more coins on the game and people are starting to build their teams. People have also started to get rewards from squad battles. They've got their rewards from pre-ordering the game as well on Monday. So around that time you see cards gradually starting to rise up in price. They go up and up and up, and that's when you can then flip cards on again. But what I'd recommend doing is getting cards early on in the cycle, selling them just before the full release, so around Thursday or Friday time. You can then reinvest when they drop down again, and then you can sell those cards a little bit later on in the week when people start to build their weekend league teams as well. Different investments are going to vary. For example, with your SBC investments, you'd want to sell them a little bit earlier, I'd say. You're just going to kind of judge it based on the pricing, because it all depends. There might be an SBC Solution on Footbin where players are really expensive because of that, and you can obviously take advantage and sell them there. But there we go. That is going to be the end of the video. I put a lot of time and effort into it, so hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Hopefully this video was informative and will help you guys out. I think it does. Definitely kind of illustrate the best ways of making investments. I've shown you guys literally players to invest in, so it's so simple, you really can't go wrong. But there are loads and loads of others. As I said, this is by no means the be all and end all. It's not like the ultimate list of investments. You need to find your own ones, because if I show you guys all of them, they're not going to go up as much in price. So if you find your own cards to pick up, using those database websites and using the full game when it's out, you can really make so much profit. So if you guys did enjoy this video, if you did, don't forget to leave a like on it, subscribe if you're new around here. I'll be announcing the winner of the FIFA 20 giveaway tomorrow as well, so stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you guys later. Take care.